what comes first? Was it the scholarship that was given? Because I can see that about 300 people got a scholarship, NECO scholarship, and then there are the notebooks that were given to school.
Yes.
One has to come before the other. So could you tell us?
The notebook came first. It was just a little way of assisting the indigent ones amongst us. So we started giving out notebooks to public primary schools. I actually thought about my village, and then the next thing, the local government. And because I also partly grew up in Esan North, and I have friends here, we also reached out to them. So that's how it became an Esan South and Esan North thing. So just to assist in a little way. Yeah, parents will buy some other books, but if we can just assist with the notebook. So that's how we started doing the notebook. But going over there, like I said before, in my community, we started giving the token to those in higher institutions. Then there was need to reach out to those in primary schools by assisting with the notebooks. And then taking it to the next level, we now felt, okay, at least we can assist those in the secondary school. Extend the distribution of the notebooks to secondary school. Then over time again, I had so many people coming to say, Uncle, can you help me? Can you enroll me in NECO, in WIC, and all that? That was what I was trying to avoid in the higher institution thing, because I didn't know too many of them. That's okay, fine.
NECO anyway?
National Examination Council.
Okay. All right.
So when they came and were asking about all that, I said, okay, fine. Maybe we can set up a little thing to organize an examination for them, so that in that way we can reach out to a wider audience, a wider group of people. Yeah. And my good friend, Barrister Vincent Akere, who is a proprietor of a school, took on this boldly. He advised how we should go about it, and to the glory of God, that has started now.
Okay. So the community, they are better off?
Oh, yes, definitely, yes.
And since when did this start, the scholarship, the NECO enrollment thing? When did it start?
This year. Yes, and it's something.
So you have the first batch of people now?
Yes. Yes, 250 pupils, I was told, yes.
Okay, 250. That's much appreciated. And they are distributed within the Eastern, Northeastern?
Yes, for now. Yes, for now. Over time, we will go over to the other local governments. Yeah. This is the starting point. Yes. Okay, for the widows, we did something for the widows in my community again. When I say my community, not just my clan. Yeah. Like I said, my mother is a widow. I thank God she's still alive. I knew life was tough growing up. Mm-hmm. And then, even in that poor community, the women that have husbands struggle. Because I also have a farm in my village. So most time I'm coming out from the farm, I'm driving, I see women pushing trucks, carts, and carrying some heavy stuff on their heads. They're going home to cook for one man or the other. Then the man has a farm to assist the woman. So what about those that do not have husbands? So and I felt to reach out to them, and I gave them something last year. I think I gave them a token also, at least 3,000 naira each, for those in my clan as a token. And again, it was appreciated so much. Like it was just a token, and they appreciated it so much. So I got in touch with the priest in my village, that's Oboha, to help organize the widows. So in that way, it's not partisan. Somebody's not saying that they called people from one particular community and others were left out. And he organized it, and I think he just sent to me 438 widows in that very small community. So hopefully before Easter, we plan to give them a package, certain amount of money, and then maybe bags of rice. And we are doing this for now in Oboha and in Ewuhimi.
When you give out this gift to the widows, what do you really hope that they do with it? Is it just something that's just to feed them? Because you mentioned something that we're coming to, the farm.
Yes.
But each time you bring the widows together, is it just to give them money to be able to feed, or hoping that they could use that to get involved in petty trades? Or
the petty trade will come to later. But it's just for them to survive. Because again, I go home and I ask about certain people, and like, oh, he's passed on, she's passed on. And I can tell you some of those people didn't die of any chronic disease or any terminal disease. Maybe malaria. As simple as that. You know. Then my aunt told me once in the village, when I was telling her about, okay, headache, can't you just have paracetamol? And she said to me, even paracetamol, even if it's 10 naira, most people here cannot afford it. So I go back to the fact that even the ones that have husbands can barely afford such things. People talk about the ones that do not have husbands. And that the scripture says that God is the husband of the widows. Well, God is not going to come down from heaven to be their husband. He will have to use individuals like us. So for now, it's just to reach out to the widows and assist them in any way one can. Then we will come to microfinance later, where we can give them a package to help them set up a business and all that. But as you know, that takes a lot. You have to study it to be sure it's something they can do, and they can earn the money and apply it, they can get the money and apply it the right way. Yeah.
The reason I asked that question was because you mentioned something that we've come to now, which is that you are also a farmer.
Yes.
So we'll be talking about what you do in your farm.
Yes.
And when you find time for it, saying that you are with the oil companies trying to make sure their machine do not break down. But first, staying on the widows now.
Yes.
Don't you think that it would be very important probably to get them, to encourage them to go into farming, if that is possible? And then maybe they can be assisted to buy the necessary materials to have a proper farm.
Yeah, we will get there. Don't forget that this is just a foundation. We are not government.
No, from
yes.
the little,
Yes.
I know,
Yes.
I did say that. I'm just saying that from the among the women
Yes.
that you assist,
Yes.
if it would be possible or okay to just tell them that, well, there are certain things that you can do that will make your life better if you go more into farming.
They already farm because it's a rural community where the only means of livelihood is farming.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
they already do that.
Okay.
But the long-term plan we really have for that, this will not be for the widows alone. It's for the entire community, to see if we can organize them into cooperatives. Yes, because like I said already, because I have a farm, we already have the Fadama farm project right now. Again, in my community that I organized. Because I have read about this, and when I discussed with them, they were very pessimistic. That's the entire community. I said to them, government will disburse money. They are disbursing money. But you need to be organized as a cooperative, which we have done right now. For one of the groups, we are almost close to getting some disbursement from government right now, because they are supposed to make their own counterpart funding, and government will give them something to expand the farm. So we will start that. And when I'm also working on looking at the possibility of getting a loan to buy tractor for the cooperative, so that they share that tractor amongst themselves. So that is not necessarily for the widows alone. It's just for the entire community.
Yeah, for the entire
yes, so they can organize themselves into cooperatives, and then we'll work it out that way. At least they can get some funds, subvention from the government to support their farms, and then from the persistent farming, maybe they can go into mechanized. Yeah. But that's long term.
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about your farm.
Yes. Well, again will come back to the water project. Yeah. The community just fell in love with me, and I'm so grateful to God for that. And when I said I wanted to farm, they gladly gave me a huge size of land. And I got partners overseas, and were willing to do biofuel. They said we will plant rice, we can extract fuel from that and all that. That was when the price of oil was actually going to about $100 and something dollars per barrel. So, well, you know the way things work here. They needed the C of O and all that. I ran to the government to try and get all that. The process was too long. And within a short time, the company went under. It was an Australian company. They went under, and that was it. But here I am. The community had given me land. If I go back and explain all this to them, they will not understand. So I started on my own, and I started with rice. And I got a consultant to do that. But we lost a whole lot in that harvest. And Before we got a harvester in, it was already falling and all. But the community, again, they all came out. The youths, the men came out, helped to harvest and bring this out from the farm. And then we were not done. We still had a whole lot left. The women organized, went to the farm. I didn't pay them a dime. Harvested and brought all out. And nobody asked me for a dime. Now, they gave me a piece of land to farm. And I started farming. And I was having problems with harvesting. They went out on their own. Sacrificed their time to harvest for me. No, I don't know anywhere in the world where that is done.
The community have to believe in you.
Exactly.
To be able to do that.
Exactly. But since then, I have gone into oil palm. Because like I said, I work in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is so far away from this part of the world. Because I will not have the time to come in always. I know the oil palm is that one that has a long time to grow and before it to be harvested and all that. It's something that can grow on its own without too much assistance. So we went into that, and it's doing well right now. And once in a while we go there for hunting and all that, but I haven't really got. I'm not really a hunter yet, but I will get there someday. Maybe it's going to be a pastime, because I begin to grow up and plan to retire into the farm. I'll probably get a hunting gun and be knocking those little things that disturb in the farm.
Yeah. So, with your farm,
Yes.
Is the strategy or the target again for the community, or you're thinking about exportation?
For now, when we can develop this, the oil palm, we will set up a mini refinery to refine it, and then sell to Nigerians, because there's a huge market here. We sell to Nigerians. So if we have so many oil palm companies producing oil palm and we can now export, all well and good. But primarily, we would have created jobs for people in the community, because right now we have about 10, 12 people working the farm. Yeah, then over time, as we expand, we'll probably bring in more people. We have a whole lot of plans for that place. But as long as we have the right hands and the right partnership, then we'll expand it. Yeah. So, but for now, yes, we will produce oil palm and then sell to the market. And then if there's need to export it, we will do that.
Okay. I can see that you are a man of many colors.
Yes.
And one has to be very fast when looking at you to be able to keep up to date with you. And again, there's the project, the eye medical treatment.
Oh, yes.
What is that again?
Again, whether that is a coincidence, I don't know. My mom is 76 years old now. I think she had cataract, and then she went to Europe to meet my siblings, and I think he was operated on. And then my uncle, my dad's half-brother at home, he kept telling me he had problems with his eyes. They would just joke around it. Then my elder brother visited and said my uncle could not recognize him. He felt very bad. And he said for us to raise some money for him to go do the surgery in Benin, which we did. And he went to do that, and he came back and could see very well. While he was away, the wife told me she cannot even see also. And here we are. We have a community of people that can barely see. I thank God for my family, that my siblings in Europe can come take my mom and then perform a surgery out there, and she came back, she could see, they gave her glasses and all that. But there are people in the community that cannot see, and they do not have anybody to cry to. So I discussed with a friend in Port Harcourt who told me, oh, well, I know a firm, that the wife is actually the head of that firm. They go out for outreaches they do outreaches for the oil companies. They go to the communities and they treat people, they do check their eyes and even do the medical outreach. Just take their blood pressure, check for malaria and all that. So he helped me put that together. And of course I brought them to the village, and it was awesome. It was awesome. There's so many people that were sure that they didn't have problem with their eyes. They were tested and discovered that either they can is long, is it short sight, others is long, and others that didn't even know they had the high blood pressure. They felt they were not well, but it was just high blood pressure. They had to tell them how to control this, and they were giving drugs and all that.
So is that on a continuous basis, or they come once or twice?
Yeah, yes, for the community, I don't know whether we're going to be able to do that this year, but we'll take it around. Maybe the local government, at least so that we can affect as many people as we can affect.
Yeah.
Yes.